Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
Whether you're a close friend or a media pitch or a colleague and whatnot, I think my catchphrase is not just one leg up, but is, do you want a podcast? I've just come to this realization because I'm open to hearing your story of success on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. I am. Whether it's a longtime college friend or even a longtime friend from high school, do you want a podcast is my question of the day whenever I see success. Because I love having this platform, the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. And I love opening this platform to share stories of alumnus who have gone on to be successful writers like Joe Trezza. And he is now featured in the New York Times. Joe, a college friend, and actually did a feature in the Queen's Gazette, I want to say, about my work as a podcaster in Queens. Now he's featured on the front page of the New York Times with his story. He made it to the front page of the New York Times. That's a success. I've got another friend, Kim. She's opened up her new business, and I want to know, do you want a podcast? So I'm hoping to get not just those who are on the, everybody's radar, but those that are under the radar and on the ground working hard and building their own life here in New York and beyond. So maybe it's aggressive when I say, do you want a podcast? It's like old college or high school friends saying, hey, I got, you want to invest in this? But in reality, it's better than investing. It's telling your story on this network, which is what One Leg Up with Alex Garrett is about. So congrats to Joe Trezza. I hope to get him on my show, as he's now a featured writer in the New York Times front page. By the way, front page. Can't beat that. And I'm also thankful on this a little later, Alex at 6, a little thankful that I get to post videos from the pandemic years, because this week is the anniversary of the lockdown 4 years ago. And I'm very thankful to be here. I'm a lot thankful. And I'm going to read you a couple things I wrote on Facebook today, which was this. I only got COVID once back in the start of 2022. And around the anniversary of the shutdown, I just want to say how blessed I am that I have that tight-knit family with Lori Sue Brockway, my mom, and Victor Furman, my dad, my stepdad. We all got through the shutdown and grew as a family. Though I moved back out with Gabriella Marie, my fiance Gabriella, that tight-knit feel still remains 4 years later with Gabby in the fold even more as my fiance. I'm also thankful Pops was able to endure that pandemic as well. For all of us, memories will pop up on Facebook, and we need to take a freaking victory lap that we made it through that. While we remember those we lost during the pandemic, we can't feel sad all the time about that time because we've made it through that. We've got to honor that moment, remember those, and move forward as this anniversary rolls around once again. So I'm not ashamed to share those videos over and over of success through the pandemic, of working through the pandemic and surviving a pandemic. Because that means God's got us. And He has everyone. Even those He called home, He had everyone during that time too. So thanks be to God, I'm here to podcast 4 years later. I'm going to send you my Flattening the Coronavirus Curve podcast in the description below. I found that as a reminder of where we were 4 years ago and how far we've come. The streets of New York are filled again. And if that's not exciting, I really don't know what is. But there have been moments since this pandemic, whether it was going to LA or Texas or getting engaged to Gabby. I was a bit of a wild man after being held up in that pandemic lockdown. self-containing also, because I remember and I realized how immunocompromised I might have been, if you will. Underlying medical conditions I have, if you will. But then, man, 2021, back out there. Went out to LA, went out to Texas in 2022. Those are some fun times. And yeah, Gabby and I were on and off during those 4 years, but I am looking back and saying it was, of course, going to be Gabby that once all was said and done, the dust was cleared, I was going to end up with. And though we may have disagreements or arguments or real life situations, at the end of the day, I will always... what did I tell a friend? Let me say what I told a friend. I said this: something about spending my life with her still excites me every day. And I'm not afraid to share it here on the podcast. And sometimes in person I don't know how to say that, but it's true, babe. No matter what we go through, spending my life with you still excites me every day. And though we kind of were on and off during the pandemic years, and I was a bit of a wild man, it fell into place the way it was supposed to be. And I thank God for that. Here, as we remember the anniversary of the shutdown, and be thankful that we're no longer in that position, and that we have our loved ones with us. And are able to remember it. And for those who don't have their loved ones with them, we mourn with you during this time. I'm sure it's a very painful time for March and April 2020. But we remember them that went before us in that pandemic. And we learn, may we learn that putting patients in nursing homes, not the best idea. Maybe we learn that politicians having their cake and eating it too by locking us down shouldn't stand for that either. Maybe we learned that yes, we have to flatten the curve, but we won't let them flatten our lives 4 years later. That's Alex at 6.